for Hannibal. Just thought I'd open this with trying to lighten the mood a little bit, since we all know what happened last time. We're here. Hannibal, Season 3, Episode 1. We left on the cliffiest of cliffhangers. Everyone could be dead. Everyone could be alive. Hannibal's jetting off somewhere with Gillian Anderson. Lucky bastard. And just everything was as bad as it could be, basically, by the end of last episode. It was an incredible episode. An incredible bit of television. But boy howdy does it open up the doors to what on God's earth do we do next. Expectation wise, I feel like we'll probably jump ahead in time a little bit, more than likely, and we'll probably get some exposition as to what happened that night, what happened to everyone, where they all went. I mean, that's if everyone actually made it out alive, because I don't know. Going into this, I expect there will obviously once again be some dynamic changes. We'll be continuing certain themes, and I don't know, maybe this is Will and Hannibal moving into their kind of long distance relationship and seeing how this works out for them. I will say before jumping into this one, thank you for all the kind messages on the previous episode. You guys seem to really enjoy that video, and you know, thank you for letting me know. But also, as we move into the final season of Hannibal, we do need to start contemplating what the next show will be to take its spot. Obviously, we've got a few weeks of Hannibal to go, but I do want people to start, you know, maybe thinking about what they might like to see. The only things I have to say as a prerequisite is that it has to be something that I can get on a physical media. I can't do streaming shows just because I have no way of getting the footage. I have no idea how other reactors go about doing it. I've tried things, it doesn't work. I don't know. So it has to be something that I can get on physical media. And I'm looking for something where the episodes are about 40 to 45 minutes long, just because, you know, that's the situation I'm in terms of having enough time to record and edit everything at the minute. It's not great, it's not ideal, but that's kind of the box we're in right now. But yeah, I just want people to think about that, see if there's anything that you think might be a good moving on point, a new show. Head over to the Discord if you've got suggestions, or leave some in the comments here. There will be a link to Discord in the description below. But yeah, just everyone keep that in mind. We are coming towards the end of this show and we'll need a new one to take its place. But other than that, if you do enjoy this video, please remember to hit the thumbs up button. It helps me know you liked it, helps it get seen by more people. Also consider subscribing and supporting the channel that way. And like I said earlier, please consider going over to the Discord, joining up over there. It's a nice community we're building up over there. Also, my Twitch channel, there'll be a link to that as well. It's a fun time. I talk to you all live, play games. It's a great time. It's a funny time. I think you'd like it. So if you're into that, please consider doing that as well. But let's jump into the first episode of Season 3, see where we're going, see where the show is taking us next on its final leg of the journey. I like the Blade Runner music. Oh, it's before Blade Runner 2049 came out, and this is what this music reminds me of. We're in Paris, by the looks of it. Paris. So I assume this is probably Hannibal trundling along on this motorbike. Oh, gorgeous shot. Yep, there he is. Being all cool and shit. God damn it. He's a monster, but he's just so fucking suave and cool.
Do you know Roman well? You were staring with the thinly veiled disdain of a man who does. I was his TA at Cambridge. He was insufferable even then.
This guy is chugging the champagne.
One can appreciate another's words without dissecting them. Though, on occasion, dissection is the only thing that will do.
Hannibal out here, making friends, planning new hunts, I'm guessing. This guy seems like it's probably his target.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
He's eating him. He's going to be eating him. That's what's on the menu today. Is Hannibal going to eat this guy because his book is shit? Is that what's happening here?
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
I'm eating your boyfriend. I hope you don't mind.
Bonsoir.
Where is this going then? Okay. I will quickly note some things down. Uh-huh. Okay, we're going back to this, are we?
Smells of candy apples and thyme. You smoked me in time.
What a sentence. What a sentence that is.
This isn't cannibalism, Abel. It's only cannibalism if we're equals.
This is
Interesting.
cannibalism if you-
Interesting. That's a very telling moment for Hannibal.
But I shouldn't spoil the fairy tale, should I?
Some
You
fucked up
little
fairy tale.
gingerbread house.
It is a bit of a gingerbread house. No, he's right. I take it back. It is a gingerbread house.
Are you familiar with the personalities of pre-Renaissance Florence? I think not.
What the fuck is going on? There's academic flex on each other. I don't think it's a wise idea to try flex your brain over Hannibal's.
Allegro mi sembrava amore, tenendomi il cuore in mano. E nelle braccia aveva Madonna involta in un trappo tormento.
If he's such an expert on Dante, let him lecture on Dante. To the studiolo. Let him face them.
People just having a brain off today, apparently. He got clapped.
I found a piece here that I would preserve. I've killed hardly anybody during our residence.
Hardly. Hardly anyone.
Have you given serious thought to eating Professor Soliato?
My killing Suliato now would not preserve the peace.
He's actually holding back, huh?
Your peace.
How do you feel today?
I still believe I am in conscious control of my actions.
Interesting. I would imagine she'd be pretty scared about the fact that she doesn't know she's being manipulated into doing things she wants to do, or it's just what Hannibal wants her to do under the guise of her wanting to do it. And we all know Hannibal wants Will here. He doesn't want Gillian Anderson here, he wants Will here. So... Okay, this is when she came back. Was this the same night? Did he come back here to wash himself off? That makes sense. He couldn't do it in his own house, and he knew this was free, so I guess that makes sense.
What have you done, Hannibal?
Yeah, about that.
I've taken off my person suit.
How does it feel? Being seen.
A therapy session at gunpoint.
Will Graham was not a suitable substitute for therapy.
He is devastated.
You're optimistic I won't kill you.
Don't know if that's smart. I mean, this is the past, we know she's fine, but I don't know if that would be a smart move. I mean, that's just him getting into her head, though. Like, he managed to convince her to put the gun down without barely having to do anything. Well, look at him in his fancy new office, huh? Fancy new office. Fucking enormous. Suits him down to the ground. Just like his mind palace or whatever.
Mr. Yakov, isn't it? We met in Paris a few months back. Here I was, and then there you were. I never forget a face.
Well, you just missed Roman.
Did I? Oh, I was hoping to take the piss.
He was here for you. He was here to find you.
If you are free, my wife and I would love to have you for dinner.
Now, Hannibal, when you say that, you have to be more specific. You know, when you say that, that's not just a normal, we can have you around for dinner. That's a, we may eat you.
Like all of us, what they eat greatly influences and enhances their flavor.
You wish me to be eating oysters, drinking sweet wines, and snacking on acorns. All to make me tastier?
Oh, yes.
It's a circle of life, baby.
Imagine what won't be long until someone's taking a bite out of you.
Is Will gonna eat him? Is Will gonna eat Hannibal? Is this how this all ends? I'm finding these flashbacks fascinating. Just a fascinating way of getting the themes of what we're going to be building on across. Well, he's alive. He's alive for dinner. We'll see how long it lasts, I guess.
Oysters, acorns, and masala. That's what the ancient Romans would feed animals to improve their flavor.
Gillian Anderson, I think you need to be prepared for the worst.
He's very particular about how I taste.
His face. That is the correct face. That's the correct face to make.
Is it that kind of party?
Huh? Huh?
It's not that kind of party.
Both suddenly so fascinating.
Hannibal was so up for it. He was so up for it. It was like, best not.
You let him go.
What would you have me do, Bedelia?
Interesting. It's like Gillian Anderson's always expecting the worst possible outcome. Like, that's her current mindset. I think it's going to drive her slightly insane. I guess she doesn't know if she can trust her own actions completely either. What's this? What's happening? Why is she putting herself on camera? Was this her attack? Was this when she got attacked? What the fuck? What the fuck is happening? Her arm was so deep! It was...
You were defending yourself?
I was reckless. He was your patient before he was mine.
Okay, we're getting at this. We're getting at this. Hannibal convinced him to be himself, as he does, and he lurched out and attacked.
I present the case of Pietro de la Vigna, whose treachery earned him a place in Dante's hell. He was disgraced and blinded for betraying his emperor's trust.
There's some imagery for your ass right there. That's some imagery.
On the doors of the Benevento Cathedral, we see Judas hanging with his bowels falling out. And here
Is Gillian Anderson comparing herself to Judas in some way? I'm not sure if I'm reading into that wrong or not. And obviously, Hannibal being the devil and her punishment.
Dr. Fer is a friend of yours?
I was his TA at Cambridge. The tales I could tell.
Okay, well, he kind of vouched for him there, but it was a lie. What's happening here?
What wickedness has your attention, Mr. Dimond?
Yours. You overestimate my affection for the genuine Dr. Val.
Okay.
Clearly, you found him as distasteful as I did.
Okay, he knows what's up. He knows what's up. That's what's happening here. I figured he must do, right?
Are you here to twist me into an uncomfortable position?
I'm here to help you untwist. To our mutual benefit.
Okay. Okay. What's the mutual benefit exactly? Who is this guy? I mean, clearly he knows what's up. Hannibal, he knows what Hannibal's done. He's put it together. He's put the puzzle pieces together, and now he's after something. Okay, well that was ominous. Yep. Oh, you just killed him. Fuck it. Fucked it. Fucked it, mate. You shouldn't have played your hand so early.
Are you, in this very moment, observing or participating? Did you know what he would do?
I was curious.
You were curious what would happen.
That happens a lot. That happens a lot in this show.
Dimond, is this what you expected?
Yes.
That's participation.
I'm not entirely sure I'm following what's happening. I gotta be honest. That guy's dead though, so I don't have to try and remember who he is though. I know that much. So did Gillian Anderson set this up somehow? Was she like trying to test to see if Hannibal would do exactly this as she expected, and that's why he's like, nope, you're participating in this because this is why this situation has occurred. I'm not sure though.
If only that company could be Will Graham.
Aha! This is exactly the point. I wish to be eating my meals with Will Graham. The show. Put that as the subtitle.
I'm just fascinated to know how you will feel when all this happens to you.
I mean, that definitely feels like the setup for this season. Like, some bad shit's gonna happen to Hannibal. Someone's gonna try and eat him. Or will eat him. And maybe it'll be Will. I don't know. This episode's been a lot of setting the stage for things to come, it feels like. Eee. Still doing those displays, huh? That's the episode, Jesus. Alright, okay. That was... I don't know, I feel like I didn't pick up on a lot what was happening there, but we'll go for it. Let's talk about it. Okay, episode 1, season 3, done. A lot of basically just establishing Hannibal's new world, his new life, and where he's at, what he's been doing, what he's planning to do going forward, like setting that up. We had a lot of the double meanings, the playing with expectations, the what's actually happening beneath the surface, you know, all the Hannibal stuff that we're sort of in the loop with at this point. We also had a bit of uncovering of like Hannibal and Gillian Anderson's relationship, what that actually is in this moment, where it's going, why it's come to this point, and getting a bit of backstory about her attack and everything to do with that. So just to run through the episode and the events that happened, just to see if I've got everything straight in my head, because I feel like, I don't know why, but I do feel like I missed some stuff or just wasn't picking up on some of the hints that were being laid down. So we started off in Paris. Hannibal was attending a party, formal event, whatever it was, where he killed a guy whose job he was after, I assume. And I think that's the guy whose job he wanted and took and ate him and did it in front of his partner. I'm assuming that's what the whole opening sequence was about. And then from there, it was about him getting the job and doing the job and showing that, hey, I can do this. He had to flex in front of that guy at a different party and say, hey, I've got all the knowledge. This job is mine, motherfucker. So basically, this episode was Hannibal's job interview in a lot of ways. So that part of it I got. I understood all of that. Hannibal's new life being set up, what he's doing to earn money and to blend in and to put on a new people suit, if you like, to have a new facade to hide behind. What I was starting to lose a bit of, maybe it was because there was a lot of new characters that were being introduced and I was trying to figure out who they all were, what they were to each other, what they were to Hannibal, and, you know, it was just a lot of new stuff to sort of take in and absorb and to piece it all together. So we had the guy who was, like, from Cambridge. I'm going to say the guy from Cambridge because I didn't catch his name properly, who was at the start, was talking about the guy who was like, that guy's shit and his poetry's shit, I'm better than him. And then he comes back again. Obviously, it felt like he was seeking out Hannibal by design. Like, he was like, hey, I was in town. How are you? I was just happened to be here and I heard you, you know, that kind of vibe. And it definitely felt from the offset that he was purposefully seeking him out. Obviously, later it was revealed that he kind of had put all these things together. But then it was insinuated that maybe Gillian Anderson had set things up to a certain degree to have this guy be around and to sort of see what Hannibal would do if he knew that what Hannibal had done. I think that's what all of that was about. Like, it was her, like they said, I was curious to see what would happen. I was curious to see if you would just instantly lunge into your old ways if there was a perceived threat to your stability and your new life here. That's what I think it meant. I might be completely wrong. I'm not sure. So we had Hannibal bludgeon that guy to death. So it turns out I don't really need to know his name because he was killed. And then I presume that was him put on display to look like a heart in that church at the end. So that happened. But I did find the sort of Gillian Anderson, Hannibal, like their characters' relationship being explored here pretty interesting. Obviously, she is not 100% convinced that she's where she should be. Like, this is bad for her. She's not 100% sure on if the choices she's making are her own or if they're ones that have been manipulated by Hannibal into thinking this is what you should be doing. And, you know, that whole thing is a consistent theme around Hannibal and the characters who surround him. Are they doing things because they want to do it, or are they doing it because Hannibal has subconsciously planted the idea in their head and brings up all those questions. So it was interesting diving into that. I really didn't know what to expect from what their relationship was going to be going into this season. But I think I've got a grasp on where that might be going. And it definitely feels like there's going to be some conflict in some way down the line. Who knows? It's twisty tales of Hannibal, so anything could happen with that. But it was just a good way to set it up and to set the stage for, it ain't all grass is greener on this side with our little marriage thing that we've got going on that is just all a forgery. And, it's a thing. It's going to be explored more as we go, I assume. Eddie Izzard back in some flashback sequences on that sort of final supper kind of evening, or a few different final suppers, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. But it seemed to me the whole point of those flashbacks were just to ask the question, what is cannibalism? Or at least, what does Hannibal perceive cannibalism to be? And then the moment where he was saying that it's only cannibalism if we were equals. And, we know that Hannibal thinks he's above most people, and that's why he was so fascinated with Will, because he felt like Will was someone who could potentially actually be on his level. And obviously that culminated with Eddie Izzard's character, Gideon, just saying, if only I could be sharing my meals with Will Graham. And, yep, pretty much, like I said, that could just be the subtitle for this entire show. It's Hannibal, like, why can't I have Will here enjoying these meals with me? Like, that's what I want the most, and I just can't seem to make it work. But it was nice seeing Eddie Izzard back again doing that. I don't know if we're going to get more of that, or if it was just for this episode to kind of, again, set up the mindset of where Hannibal's at, what he might be thinking about in this time. Like, he still wants Will. Like, it definitely felt like this episode had, obviously because Will wasn't in the episode, but it really felt like the absence of Will, both for the show, but also Hannibal as a character. Like, that felt like an important part of what the themage of this episode was. They did a lot of comparisons with Dante and that story. I have to be honest, I'm not an expert on that story. I don't claim to have any knowledge of it whatsoever, but based on what the episode was giving me, it felt like Gillian Anderson was comparing herself to Judas, and like the devil is now her punishment, aka Hannibal is her punishment for her misdeeds. There was that great shot with the projector projecting like the devil's face over Hannibal's, which was beautiful, just wonderful moment. But again, it just sets up that ball for what may come down the line as it rolls along, in terms of maybe Gillian Anderson seeking some form of redemption, or maybe going the other direction where, and who knows, there's a lot of hints towards, hey, what are you going to do, Hannibal, when this happens to you? When someone does this to you? Maybe it'll be Gillian Anderson. Maybe she'll break. Maybe that will be what happens. Who knows? There's a lot of options going forwards. I am kind of wondering, since this episode was just all Hannibal focused, if maybe the next episode is just going to be all Will focused. That would be pretty interesting to just see the differences in their lives without each other there. Like, what have their lives become without, I mean, I'm struggling to think of a better phrase than their other half to their recent life puzzle that's been going on. So I'm guessing that's kind of what my expectation for the next episode will be, is sort of seeing the other side of the coin, as it were, to see what that part of things are like. There was a little moment with Gillian Anderson sitting on a train station. Obviously, I felt like in the moment it was her contemplating just getting on the train and getting the fuck out of Dodge, right? It was just like, I want to leave. I could potentially just get on this train and go. And yet she doesn't. She goes back and whatever. But then again, she reconsiders and it's like, I'm grabbing my stuff and I'm going. And then he walks in with a Cambridge dude and that whole thing transpires. But interestingly, there was a more important moment where she turns to face a station camera, and I can only assume that's going to come back up, and I don't know, FBI people, be it Will and whoever else may be alive. I assume Will is alive. Like, it would be weird if Will didn't survive. Like I said in the last episode, if the show really wanted to surprise me, it says Will died. I don't think Will's dead, but I assume that moment's going to come back round, and that whilst they're trying to find where Hannibal's gone, they're going to find this image of her sitting on this train station on the CCTV, and that might give them the clue they need to go and look there, basically. But it also felt like she looked at the camera with purpose, like she wanted someone to see her. So there's that as well. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode, all in all. I did enjoy it. It was interesting to see Hannibal in a very different environment and piecing together a new life. Because obviously when we first meet him, he already has his bodysuit. He already has his life that he has hidden himself behind. Here we're having to see him kind of build it up and recreate the false reality for people to see, but so they can't see the true nature of it. And that's interesting, getting to see the peek behind that curtain as that curtain sort of closes, rather than in the previous 2 seasons where we're constantly like, can we see what's back there? Can we see what's back there? In this situation, we already know what's behind the curtain. What we're seeing is how he then draws that curtain from the other side, and that's interesting. It's an interesting idea to explore. I didn't mind that the episode had a bit of a slow burn to it, as it sort of slowly unraveled and slowly started playing its hands. I will say, like I said already, like I did find certain elements of what was going on a bit hard to follow, just because it was jumping backwards and forwards quite a bit, and I didn't know which characters I needed to really pay attention to versus what moments I really need to pay attention. Obviously, you need to pay attention to pretty much all of it, because that's the sort of show this is. But when you're just watching something for the first time, it's kind of hard to take in all the small details right off the bat. And so I apologize if you saw me struggling a little bit, going, wait, what, wait, what's happening here? Who is this guy to this person? And they all have long names, and it's hard to remember it all. I think I got the important stuff, though. I think. I'm not sure. I've probably got it wrong, and I'm sure some of you lovely people will correct me or just sort of help with anything I may have missed in this episode. It certainly sets up the new status quo and where Hannibal's at, and yeah, I'm interested to see how the will element of this is going to come in and shake things up, and obviously turn what this new life is that Hannibal's trying to build upside down, because you know he's not going to be able to resist a little bit of Will Graham. All right, like I said, this episode definitely had a theme of the missing piece of my puzzle, and when that comes into his life, it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts, certainly since it seems like some time has passed and it's still is yanking at his heart a little bit that things didn't play out the way that he wanted it to. So yeah, interesting setup. I'm definitely interested to see where this goes next. It definitely feels new in a way, like it kind of feels like we were pressing the reset button, but in a way that makes sense. Like, we had that massive cliffhanger and we kind of knew that Hannibal got away, so it's just interesting to pick that up with, okay, this is what he's been doing, so now we need to see the other half of that, you know. So I'm very eager to jump into the next episode to see what happens with that. If we get that in the next episode, it might be a continuation of what's happening here. I don't know, I have no idea, but I'm still here for it, and I think we're in for an interesting journey this season for sure. Thank you for watching this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, please press the thumbs up button. It helps me know you liked it. It helps it get seen by more people. Also, consider subscribing and supporting the channel that way. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this episode. There's also Twitch and Discord links in the description if you want to come hang out over there. It's a lovely bunch of people. We play games on Twitch. It's a fun time, so consider doing that. But for now, thank you for watching. I will catch you on the next one.